The UK is home to many of the world's largest fintech companies, and it's a growing sector. 98% of fintechs are contributing to the UK's economy and growth, from jobs creation to service provision. I met with Innovate Finance's CEO, Janine Hurt, to find out more about how the UK should keep up the momentum. Fintech is a growing sector in the UK, but there is competition internationally. Tell me what areas specifically.
So the UK is a global leader in financial technology. Last year, we received more than $12.5 billion of investment. We're second only to the United States, and we're ahead of all of the rest of Europe combined. So we have an incredible international leadership position. But it's incredibly important that we also don't lose momentum. And that's going to mean we have to have industry working together with government, working together with regulators to make sure that we are embracing this new technology and benefiting the end consumer as well.
As the fintech sector grows, do you think there's a greater need for regulation?
So there are a number of different pieces of legislation and regulation that cover the entirety of the fintech landscape. But there are some really exciting technologies that are coming up where we need to ensure that we're protecting the consumer, but also enabling them to benefit from these new areas. And that means we have to see that collaboration across industry, government, and regulators as well.
In terms of how, Innovate Finance plays into that, how does that work?
So we are essentially the industry body for UK FinTech. We're the voice of UK FinTech. And so underlying all of the work that we do is advocacy and lobbying work to ensure that the UK is the best place in the world to start a FinTech company, to grow a FinTech company, and to build a FinTech company. And such an important piece of that is ensuring that we have the right regulatory framework and the right environment here for FinTechs to scale.
The future is increasingly digital. So does that mean that the fintech sector is well positioned to benefit from the digital tools available?
I think the fintech sector is actually already ahead of the game because they have been using some of this digital technology, these new tools already to bring new products out to the customer bases. So we're in a great position as an ecosystem, as a sector. We do tend to be very agile. We're able to pivot very quickly. But the most important thing is we put customers first. And we put the customers, whether those are individuals or SMEs, at the center of the proposition. So this new technology will have an enhancing benefit to the ecosystem as well. So I think fintechs are able to adopt new technology on a much quicker basis simply by the nature of their organization. Many of the large incumbent financial institutions may have legacy processes in place that make it more difficult to adopt some of this technology. Where we also see a lot of opportunity is, however, partnerships. So increasingly we're seeing what we call a marketplace effect, where fintechs and fintechs are working together to provide an array of solutions for the consumer. We're also seeing a great opportunity between fintech and large institution collaboration as well. So the bigger banks, the high street banks, looking to see those core partners in the fintech ecosystem that can help them better cater to their own customers.
We live in economically uncertain times, so is the fintech sector better placed than traditional financial services to support people through it?
It's a great question. So we put out a report from Innovate Finance and EY earlier in this year in February that was focusing on the role of fintech in the cost of living crisis. And it actually mapped the areas where fintech is making a real and a tangible difference for consumers. So looking at things like new products to help individuals manage their money, better understand their money, grow their savings, but also looking at tools that have been developed to support SMEs through this economic difficult period as well. There are also a number of different tools that have been created by fintechs that help with identifying potential victims of financial fraud before the fraud happens, and also those vulnerable customers, providing extra support to help them through this difficult period as well.
Fintech as a force for good is something that's discussed quite a lot. What does it mean to Innovate Finance?
So many people tend to point to the financial crash of 2007 and 2008 really as the birth of the fintech movement, so to speak. And it was at that point where new entrants came in, they rebuilt trust and resilience back in the financial services sector. And since that point in time, we've only seen fintechs continue to create a more inclusive, a more democratic, and really a more effective financial services sector that works better for everyone. We know that today, 8 out of every 10 individuals in the UK are at least using one fintech tool on a regular basis. We also know that more than 50% of all SME lending in the UK is being done by fintechs. We released a report in collaboration with Accenture that is looking to quantify the impact of financial technology. And we found that 98% of the fintech ecosystem here in the UK is having a positive impact on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And more than a quarter of our community is directly addressing the issue of inequality through offering greater access to more products. So we're seeing a huge positive impact that this community of fintech and financial innovators is providing.